Hello YouTube! I've created this video today as a review of the Melanie Tonia Evans, sometimes abbreviated as MTE, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program, also known as NARP. The reason I've decided to make this video is to give you my honest review of the program. To summarize, I found the experience to be negative. If I could rate it out of 5 stars, I would rate it as 1 out of 5, if not less. The problems with this program lie with false advertising, lack of credentials, a false premise, and a toxic community forum that could leave you more scarred and damaged. After working with this program, I didn't see improvements that I would link directly to the program. Instead, I found better healing by using the work of licensed healthcare professionals who also share better, well-researched content for free on YouTube. I also find it disturbing that Melanie Tonia Evans works overtime to review any negative reviews about her program, although there are many negative reviews about the program listed elsewhere. I would have simply reviewed the program and moved on, but there's something very exploitative about her program and similar programs that I believe needs to be addressed publicly. First, I'll note that Melanie Tonia Evans is not a licensed therapist, PhD, or licensed mental health clinician, according to information available on her website. When you review the About Me section of her website, you find that she claims to have had a, quote, psychotic and adrenal breakdown, unquote, that led to her receiving a, quote, download, unquote, of information that she turned into this program. She now sells her epiphany to the public for approximately the NARP program for either $195 US as a silver member or $295 US as a gold member. There is also the Empowered Self course for another $255 US, which is recommended for those who've completed the NARP program. This is odd because she makes claims that NARP heals you from such trauma. So why would she make yet another program if the first one were effective? Then she also has the Transforming a Family of Origin Wounds for $59 US. It's interesting that Melanie has created 3 separate programs. If NARP works, why do you need 2 other programs? As someone who unfortunately bought the NARP Gold Member program, I saw members in the forum who've been there for over 4 years, who still need guidance and post weekly due to not being healed, to move on despite buying both NARP and the Empowered Self course. Sometimes all 3 courses, which is well over $500 US, worth several therapy sessions with a real licensed healthcare professional. The real fun of this program begins when you start working on the so-called modules. The modules are audios where Melanie asks for permission to, quote, come into your space, unquote. It goes very new agey and woo-woo very quickly. Throughout the audio, Melanie positions herself as someone who is guiding you through this module where you relive a traumatic past experience. Ask yourself what the problem is, suck out the trauma, go to your sacred space, fill yourself with light from something she calls source, see your inner child walk towards you, heal your inner child, burst into a ball of light a few times, then you repeat some mantras. Then Melanie exits your space telepathically, I suppose. Then you are magically free and healed for life. Easy, right? Like magic. It's interesting that Melanie purports through her audios that you are completely free of trauma and healed permanently after this exercise, since she doesn't have a license, credentials, or direct contact with you to know for sure. How can you even know if you did this correctly at all? This is where you get the joy of going onto the forum if you're a member who paid nearly $300 US to get access to the forums, where more unlicensed, inexperienced moderators and senior members guide you through using the modules. I've witnessed NARP members diagnose people as codependent, unhealed, or depressed without a medical license and without direct client consultation. An interesting part of the forum is that there are strict guidelines for what you can post and how you can post it. You actually aren't allowed to say what happened to you. This can make sense to an extent so that members don't use graphic language or re-traumatize others with their stories. However, then, if someone cannot share their background information, story, or any relevant details about what they're experiencing, why, how, can an unlicensed NARP moderator help? What are you paying nearly $300 for? Meditations that you can find online on YouTube for free for far less than $300? You may be paying for Melanie's new home, which she sent out pictures of to her newsletter members by email during the pandemic when many around the globe have lost their jobs and economies around the globe are experiencing recession. It's not sensitive, to say the least. What is really behind the curtain? To put it simply, NARP doesn't work for everyone. It may not work at all. Melanie herself has stated that she got into another narcissistic relationship after her NARP Epiphany download in 2007, according to her website and according to YouTube videos. So if even the creator themselves was not resistant to narcissistic relationships after using the self-developed program for years, what can you expect for yourself? The claims on the website include, but are not limited to, quote, be able to live free of trauma symptoms such as PTSD, fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, and many other states that come with narcissistic abuse, unquote. These are real medical conditions. Melanie Tonia Evans claims without evidence, peer-reviewed research, or medical licenses that her products will heal totally anxiety, depression, and other medical conditions, and therein lies the serious issues with Melanie Tonia Evans and NARP. The claims don't match the credentials. Yet, even so, Melanie uses her extensive marketing strategy to push her program as the only way to heal for real. Without proper evidence, research, and studies, these claims are dangerous, if not potentially considered fraudulent, according to some nations' laws. Think about it. Can you even buy a box of cereal in your country if it makes such medical claims, like it can lower your blood pressure or cure high cholesterol? Can you buy a medicine that makes such claims without research, evidence, and approval? Where I'm from, the answer is no. If you're in a state of trauma and shock after experiencing abuse, you may be susceptible to this sort of predatory marketing that makes grandiose claims. You may need help immediately, and you may not have time to search for information and verify the validity of services you want to receive. I highly recommend that if you are in a crisis, you call a licensed healthcare professional or a mental health hotline that is run by licensed, verified, trustworthy professionals in your community. I find it highly unethical that Melanie Tonia Evans purports that her program is the only way to heal for real without the credentials to support it. Even actual clinicians and PhDs don't make such claims about healing methods because they have done the research and peer review process to know that there's no one-size-fits-all method to healing from complex abuse. Let's now examine the premise of NARP. So within, so without. Quote, so within, so without, unquote. Again, we don't know where these phrases came from. Did it come from Melanie's download? From which server did she download this information? We do know that the phrase, quote, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul, unquote, is associated with Hermes Trismegistus, and Hermes Trismegistus is associated with Hermeticism. So why then is this information stated as an undeniable truth, a universal law in the NARP program? Melanie interprets so within, so without to mean that if you experience abuse in your life, it's your unhealed trauma causing the abuse to exist in your life. According to Melanie Tonia Evans' logic, or MTE logic, the entity, the business entity, your inner being attracted abuse. Your unhealed parts are the source of abuse. If you heal yourself, abusers will disappear from your reality. So essentially, according to MTE, to NARP, if you are abused by others or a collective society, it's your fault. If you are stalked and harassed, according to this philosophy, it's you who isn't taking responsibility to heal yourself enough to make stalkers and harassers disappear from reality and from Earth. I don't agree with this, obviously. That's why I'm making this video. I want to talk about this. You are not taking responsibility to heal yourself, NARP says. If you still encounter narcissists, now, under what authority, research, or data that MTE, the moderators or senior moderators have that says this information is fact, we don't know. What I can tell you in this review is that inside the NARP forum, this unsubstantiated claim is treated like the law, like a universal physical law. If you don't accept these claims into your life, mind, and subconscious, you will be mocked, harassed, insulted, or even diagnosed as codependent or unhealed in the forum by unlicensed strangers online. To put it simply, it's toxic. Inside the forum, people who don't blindly follow MTE's unsubstantiated claims are attacked, sometimes personally attacked. Also, on a particular review website, Melanie responds to critical reviews of her program by using passive-aggressive attacks or even exposing private client information, including names, content shared in confidence, or even identifiable information. She often tries to outright delete negative or critical reviews of the program. She does a great job at trying to control the public image, to control the narrative. If the program were so valid, why is a peer review process or a critical review so problematic? These are people's experiences, and MTE does everything they can to silence critical reviews instead of taking their own advice, looking inward, to see why they keep attracting criticism. In many critical reviews, people liken their experience in the MTE forums as a cult. I am not calling MTE a cult. I have seen why someone might describe it that way. There are unscientific, unsubstantiated claims and dogmas that are forced onto people who are looking to heal. If someone doesn't agree, they are shunned, attacked, or even banned from the forum that they paid for in their service. It's not a safe space. It's a false claim of this program that with the NARP Gold program you receive a 24/7 forum support. They should qualify this by saying you will receive that support if you go along with the doctrines of the NARP community. Your support will expire if you don't 100% go along with the doctrines of that community. Do you see the problem here? I'm moving into the conclusion of this video now, but in the future, and as I collect more information, I may do a second video. There's actually a lot more to explore about what's behind the curtain with this Melanie Tonia Evans program, especially their stance on the issue of race and the COVID-19 pandemic. There have been emails sent out to members that also suggest that people who've suffered from racism or COVID have attracted suffering, that their beings are a match for suffering. The claims of MTE get worse. And I haven't even touched on those in this video for the sake of time. So now that we've begun to unmask this Melanie Tonia Evans, MTE, the entity, or the NARP program, what does that mean for someone who is looking for support or mental health healing from real medical conditions or abuse? My suggestion is please go to a licensed healthcare professional who you trust. Use emergency mental health services if you need to. Just get real help from professional people whose work is held accountable by the law, governing bodies, and the scientific peer review process. Unfortunately, there are scammers, abusers, or even narcissists in the narcissistic abuse healing industry. And I mean the industry, specifically, I'm referring to the industry outside of the medical field or accredited therapists or psychotherapists. There are people who, in the coaching, life coaching world, they don't want you to heal. They want you more confused and more traumatized so that you'll buy more programs from them. I'm not speaking about anyone in particular. I'm just saying in general. I made this review video, audio video, so that you don't waste your time or money. I want you to know that your experience is real. What you see is real, and if it bothers you or makes you uncomfortable, trust your feelings about it. Please go to someone who is trusted and accountable by society and medical safety and verification processes. Don't trust the most vulnerable parts of your mind and life in the wrong hands. Please be safe and take care. I wish you the best. Good luck and goodbye.